Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 6 p.m. Tuesday, February 11th, 2020. Town of Grand Rapids Municipal Building, town meeting is called to order. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I've asked Patty if she'd lead.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 2 is to approve the agenda for the meeting. Any concerns? Hearing none. Move on.
I have a concern.
Go ahead.
It mentioned in here that I had requested that you visit with legal department about going to those towns.
Yes.
Was it correct or wasn't it?
Yes.
It was approved?
It was, the law changed recently, and I, quite frankly, wasn't up to date on it, and we should have posted the meeting. They will be posted in the future.
So did you get a written response?
No. I figured a phone call would be enough from him, and we had a phone call.
Okay.
Item 3, approve minutes from January 14th, 2020, town board.
I'll make a motion we approve the January 14th board minutes.
Motion by Andrew,
I can second.
second by Patty. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I am an aye. Anybody opposed? No opposed. Move on to 5, the reports from departments.
You missed 4.
4. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's why she's here.
Public comment period. I'm sorry I missed that with my fat little check mark. People wishing to address the board are limited to 2 minutes each, with a public comment period not to exceed 30 minutes. Is there anybody in the audience wish to speak this evening? Go ahead.
On item 9, I'd like the changes highlighted on that ordinance.
We'll provide them, yes.
Okay, all right. And the other thing is, it's been over a month and a half that I filled out a complaint on the snowplow driver that hit the garbage cans.
Yes.
And so I have not yet heard back on that.
Unfortunately, well, you and I met right the
I
very
know
same
that,
day,
but you told
and
me
I
to come
explained
fill out
to
a
you that
complaint, and I did. What's that?
and I explained to you that where the track was.
You told me to, when you came over there, Arnie, you said fill out a complaint.
Yes, you
I came over
did.
here and I filled out a complaint. Now, I would think that I should have received something back in writing, what exactly transpired with that complaint. I mean, did it go to the personnel committee?
No, it went to the chairman. I took upon myself. I visited personally with you over to your house, signed off on it that we visited, and
That was
gave it to the girls.
Yeah.
And now Peggy or Jewel unable to find it.
What?
That's what I'm saying. So,
That's unacceptable.
well, I'm sorry it is.
Well, so you never got back to me that said, poof, it poofed in the
I felt that we were complete with our discussion when I left your house that
Maybe
day.
you were, but what happened with the driver? Was there never a discussion or anything with the driver about that? I mean, you have many complaints come in here. I talked to other neighbors in the area that had their garbage cans, you know.
We're getting past the discussion stage. We're getting into back and forth, which is for you
Well, but
to
that-
speak to us. I've got your point.
So the point being what? What is
Well, the
my-
point being, there's not supposed to be a back and forth between this. Seriously,
Well,
right?
okay, so
Am I wrong?
I'm asking that I did not get anything back on my complaint, my written complaint that you told me to come over here and do.
I did.
Okay, so I'm waiting for a response
The
of that complaint.
the form does not require a written reply. All it says is action taken. Action taken, visited with the person involved,
Well-
reviewed it, and
I personally did not read that entire complaint, I mean, that form, but if that is what
well,
is.
Bill's gonna get one
If
apparently.
that
Is that what
is
you're after?
what is, if people fill that out and and it doesn't say on there that they should have a response back. That form is lacking in what it should require.
I felt the response was made by myself personally going and reviewing it with you. That was the response. You heard from me. I explained where I felt the flaw was. You didn't agree. So where else is it gonna go? So we've used your 2 minutes up. Anybody else wishing in the audience have anything they want to speak this evening? All right, if not, we'll move to item 5. Fire Department report, please, Chief Bob Pyatt.
Evening, board and residents.
Evening.
We're currently staffed with 49 fire EMS members, 5 are non-structural firefighters, 6 EMS only members, for a total of 24 members trained to do EMS. We're always looking for motivated individuals to join fire and EMS. If you're interested, stop by the town hall or the fire department and see me. Since the last report to the board, the department has responded to 22 calls for service, consisting of the following. We had 18 EMS calls, and we had four calls for service on the fire side, which consisted of one structure which was electrical in nature, carbon monoxide call, a gas smell leak, and a mutual aid call from Wisconsin Rapids for help on that Gardner Street fire. So compared to the same time last year, that would be an 18% drop in EMS calls and a 50% drop in fire calls. Training information, last month's training consisted of the following. EMS, we had in-house training on policy and procedures, and then we made everybody do an equipment inspection on all the kits we carry. On the fire side, we did equipment familiarization and SCBA drills in the morning, and then in the evening we did the same as well, but then also a portion of our membership went up to Cronenwetter for the Wisconsin DOT time training. So within the last 2 months, I've sent 14 members. That time training is a traffic incident management enhancement. It's put on by the DOT. It's a completely free of charge school. And it's a 4-hour class, and it's a real eye opener on what the perils we face on the roadways and working out in traffic. So like I said, I was really glad that many people, 5 of us went down to Adams in December, and then 9 went up to Cronenwetter this last month. So like I said, that was a 6-hour night for them by the time they drove up there and took the class and came back. So but I was real happy that was well accepted and done. So last month we had a monthly department meeting, department officer meeting, 2 training meetings, an EMS meeting. And for public relations, this last month we were asked to help out with the Special Olympics. So we assisted Wood County Rescue with cold water rescue for being in the water, and we ended up filling the pool and then pumping the pool out for the polar plunge. So that was a good event for us. And then the following day, we participated in the homecoming escort for Malcolm McGregor, the 4-year-old cancer patient from our township who recently spent months in the hospital battling his illness. Our smoke detector program is ongoing. We're well over 400 smoke detectors that we've installed in the township, completely free of charge, thanks to Captain Ski's diligence and the Red Cross. I talked to them the other day, and at this point, they're not ceasing that program, and that is ongoing. As long as we're willing to keep putting them in, they will keep supplying them. And we sold quite a few address signs through the tax-paying season. So obviously some of those can't be installed till the spring, until the ground thaws. But any of the people that just ordered the signs only will got it in an orderly fashion. So from the safety department, we had no injuries reported this last month.
Any questions for him?
Sure.
Hi, Bob. Just wondering, with the traffic incident management, is that more like, were you learning more about traffic control? Was that more that way, or?
It goes what the DOT expects as far as lane closures and road closures. A lot of scary video they catch on the,
Yeah.
showing things that happen when,
People don't follow the,
yeah, when you close roads. And like I said, it's a great class, and it's at, all it cost us was a little bit of fuel to get our members up there, so
nice.
it's a good
Great
program.
job
It's,
finding that.
yeah, and they've been having them sporadically, and then I go to the North Central Chiefs meetings, and I talk to one of the guys that teaches it, and so I kind of got the inside track on when they were planning some more of them. And
Okay, good.
so the next time there's not one. The next one that is actually going to be like 2 hours. It's going to be east of Anago, so I didn't even tell anybody about that. But the next time there's one within like an hour of here again, I'll try to get some more members through that.
Thank you.
So
Wayne?
Did you get the town association meeting?
no, I don't.
Oh, it's just an interesting question in there for our legal counsel. Is that, can a municipality use the 2% fire dues to make payments on loans that were taken out? And the answer is yes. This municipality can use our 2% dues as long as it says here, if the municipality does not contract for fire service, it is entitled to retain the 2% dues and use them for loan payments.
Great.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Chief.
All right, thank you.
We'll ask Sergeant Greekline to come up and provide us with the police update.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, Sergeant.
Mel is at training in the Dells. It's his annual
Poor guy.
conference stuff. So the month of January, we had 354 calls for service compared to 347 last year, 2% increase in calls. You guys have a sheet from Mel that breaks down all the calls. We issued 57 citations, 3 ordinance citations, and 58 warnings for the month. And the new squad, the new Explorer is in service, and the Charger will be sold whenever, I'm guessing they'll start talking about it when he gets back from his Chiefs conference, when to put that on the auction. That's all I have.
Any questions for him? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you wish to be excused, you may. We'll ask Amy Cook to come up and update us on the treasurer's report. We got a little money in the bank, I see, huh?
We do. For the month of January, current month receipts were $4,341,808. Current month disbursements were $5,252,884. Cash on hand at the end of the month was $3,772,570, with $105,998 in checking, $368,364 in the repo account, and $322,422 in the money market. Any questions?
Any questions? Hearing none, you may sit down. Thank you again.
Just a question on the reports. I see
Go ahead.
Rick has a written report.
Yes, he does.
Is this where this would be in the reports?
At the current time, it's still down in the Public Works section at this time.
So how does it get in this other section? Does the board have to make that decision? Or does the chairman have to make that?
Chairman probably has prerogative on the agenda, as you're probably aware of. So basically, when I decide to move it up there, it moves up there.
So when we asked that, we get a treasurer's report, and it was asked for by this board, and it was recommended that we get a treasurer's report, you made the decision to have it there?
Yes.
Well, I would like to see that there. I mean,
Yep.
I think it's a proper place for it.
It's in Public Works because the Public Works also has a report. So if we have something else, it's, in my opinion, appropriate to go through what he just did, and then if Public Works has anything to interject, we'll interject it right along with it. That's why I have it where it is right now.
I would like to make a motion to have it in that line with the rest of the people.
The motion
I have a
has
second.
been made. Is there a second?
I can second it.
And their decision is the request is to have it moved up in line with monthly reports I will be voting no. And for my reason is I think it belongs where Public Works is, because the Public Works Committee, which is part of this, will have other comments.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yes, I will be voting yes on this because I think it's real important, for one thing, that everybody in that line gives an annual report. And with the Public Works, we don't get an annual report. We don't even get one from Public Works on this. We don't get an annual report of what they did on roads and stuff like that. And I think this should be up there so that the public and even us will know exactly what went on, and there'll be a record of it.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Two
Aye.
opposed, motion dies. Item 6, consider possible action on water event permit for aqua skiers to close Lake Wazecha for the State Water Ski Show Tournament, July 16th through the 19th.
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion by Bill, seconded by Andrew to close the lake for their annual state ski tournament, July 16th through the 19th. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 7, consider possible action on temporary Class B liquor license for the State Water Ski Show Tournament, same time frame, July 16th through the 19th.
I'll make a motion, we approve the Class B temporary license.
Motion by Andrew,
I can second that.
seconded by Patty. And again, this is all fenced in like they've done in the past, with I don't want to say bouncers, with card checkers at the entranceway, so they are doing a very good job of trying to keep the underage out.
And the insurance is all up to date?
Yes.
Yes. Any other discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have an aye. Any opposed? Consider possible action on resolution 2020-02, a resolution to recommend highway safety improvement efforts on State Highway 54 from its intersection of 64th Street North to its intersection with 80th Street North. You have a motion that was generated by our attorney. A resolution has been our attorney with the assistance of myself and Chief Peterson. Want to go on to record that I received one call from Bobby Donahue, whose business is right in that affected area, and he's very concerned about the speed, and he's on record to being in supporter to it.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Motion by
Second.
seconded by Andrew. Any other discussion?
Yes, the county is doing the same thing at its February meeting and haven't. And we have talked about that already. But I would have liked to seen a lot more effort in this. I would have liked to have seen somebody go as a town official and go to these people that live there with those driveways and be part of this resolution, that we had those people and the result of a petition for that. However, I would still like to see a unanimous vote on this, because I think it's important to let the state know that we want this. This isn't the first time this happened.
No.
And another thing is that Altenburg School, that's when there was a claim in to lower the speed limit, because now that became a school in the state. And you and I, Arnie, have been at when it was doing 80th Street, in which they said that is built for speed and they're gonna leave it that way, so.
Yeah, we're hoping to change their mind, I guess, if you're done with your comment, are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And I'll just say that we've been after this for a number of years, and the chief indicated a bunch of statistics, and that should open somebody's eyes. He will be writing his official letter, the same as the sheriff did, to present this resolution that the town asked him. So there'll still be more data to it. There's obviously opportunities for those folks like the Donahues and that, if they wish to submit a letter to they may. We have no idea where this will go at any time, shape, or form. We have no idea, but our hope is to at least get the study. Any
Is
other
it
comments?
also- I'm just trying to place the restaurant that's out there,
Highway 54.
yeah, which is closed now, but
Mm-hmm.
does it encompass that?
Yes.
In front of that?
Yes, and then also the beer entrance to the
Oh,
beer
the industrial park,
Park.
okay.
and the potential entrance to the beer development, which will be on 64th Street is where they're gonna make a new entrance
It would
apparently.
have been nice to have it prior to the restaurant closing,
Yeah.
actually.
But anyway, any other comments?
I don't represent that area of the town of Grand Rapids on the county board, but the person that does has been asked to help out with that, and I don't know if that person has done it or not, so.
All right, we appreciate you. We appreciate the help, and when this is presented, I think the next traffic meeting's end of February
Yes.
sometime, if I remember right. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of support of resolution 2020-02, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No opposed. Okay, we are, resolution, let's go. 9, consider possible action on resolution 2020-02, revising ordinance 41, establishing policies for streetlights. And the change to it is, where did we put that? 500 feet.
Parent B.
First page B?
Second page B.
Second page, item B, which says, upon receipt of the request of streetlight installation, the town will notify property owners within the 500-foot radius of the proposed location of the requested street sign installation and a meeting at which it will be discussed. That's the change that was added to it. Any motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2020-03.
Motion by Andrew, second by Patty. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye, any opposed? No opposed? Item 10, consider possible action on resolution 2020-04, revising ordinance 24, a building code to include occupancy bond verbiage. This resolution is generated with the support of our building inspector, who has difficulty getting the final inspection done before people are moving into the house. So the design is to ask the person that takes out the permit to post a bond, either a guarantee or some form of holding the money for the town, that they can hold it until the final inspection is done.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Which second came first?
Take Bill's.
There a motion by Patty, second by Bill. Any other discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye, anybody opposed? No opposed? That was 10. Item 11, consider possible action on Officer Jaworski attending field training course at Waukesha, May 16th through the 20th, at a cost of approximately $1,100.69.
I'll make a motion to approve the training.
Motion Bill,
Second.
second by Andrew. Any discussion?
Just a question, Sergeant, do you know, does that interfere with having to have additional overtime or anything as
Usually-
far as?
Usually the shifts for his training or any other training will fill with a part-timer
Okay,
while they're on, so.
all right.
It's
Thank
required pre-set up, so we're just waiting for the board's approval on this action.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions, concerns, comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Consider possible action on the resignation of Police and Fire Chief, Police and Fire Commission member Kirk Willard, and Chairman Snysom's appointment for replacement to fill the vacancy that will go through May 2021. I'd like to make a motion to accept his resignation and appoint Robert Oswald to fill that term until May 2021. Mr. Oswald has a serious amount of hiring background.
I'll make a motion to accept Kirk Willard's resignation and appoint Bob Oswald to fill the vacancy through May of 2021.
Motion by Patty,
Second.
second by Andrew. Any discussion?
He is a town resident.
Yes, he is.
Did you make the motion and then Patty seconded it? Or?
No, I made the motion.
I made-
Oh, okay, okay,
And
gotcha.
then
Okay.
Andy
And
seconded.
did you put out anything on the internet that
No.
this was open?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I just want to make a comment. When in the manual for the Police and Fire Commission, board members can be appointed. They're not barred from being a member. And I did mention that I wanted to be part of the Police and Fire Commission.
Yes,
So,
that manual may have said that, but when I went and looked at the state section of it, it said could not.
okay, so there's conflict between the Police and Fire Commission manual, and I believe there was a state statute, wasn't there, Lisa, that when we were looking? But I can show
There was
it
a
to you
statute mentioned
after
in
the
that.
meeting too. But
Yeah.
it did clearly say that,
The
Board
statute,
members were
statute
not-
I looked at said,
We'd have to look at
Cannot.
the dates on the manual in my
Okay.
office unless that's an old one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
all right, all in favor, say aye.
Oh, just one more. So this is his resignation, November 15th, 2019.
Well, he didn't do it then.
Well, why
But-
is this stated? It
Well,
says
that was a letter to him telling him that he needed to respond, and that by December 31st, I believe it was, or whatever the date.
December 10th of
Whatever.
2018.
He did not respond. We chased him down. We finally got a text message back that said he was out of the country and he would send the resignation as soon as he got back in, which he failed to do. And he's not responded, and I finally did text message him again, and he said he would drop off the
The rest.
rest when he can.
And the reason I ask that question is because I go to their meetings. Of course, I don't go to the closed part of it, but back then they thought he was retired and said he was.
No, he took another job at a different city.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye, any opposed? No opposed. 14, January disbursement vouchers. Any questions on them?
oh, you missed it.
Did I, 13? All right, hold on,
Yeah,
survey.
don't forget that.
How many hours was that last night?
Yeah. Yeah.
13, consider possible action on plan commission's revised survey. All right, what did you do now?
Oh, yes. It was a very lively meeting. I'm so happy that our plan commission is very passionate about this survey. We did weigh question number 25 over and over, and in fact, there were 3 motions that were actually made just on question number 25. The first motion was to strike question number 25 from the survey altogether, and there was no second, so it died. The second motion was to put the question in with the dollar amounts of where the town of Grand Rapids residents would contribute $2 million to the aquatic park with $22,000 ongoing maintenance. And then it went into the reduced resident fee. They still strongly felt that it sounded like a referendum question. They also were leery that those were the figures that were final. It was stated that we did receive these numbers directly from the mayor, and apparently through one of the meetings that the city of Wisconsin Rapids had, they are going to send out something formal, I believe within the next month, to the municipalities indicating the exact dollar amounts that they're looking to have contributions from us. So that motion was made and it lost. And so then there was more discussion because the reason why it lost was mainly because of the fact that there was greater discussion about, well, if we're going to put dollar amounts in that question, they wanted to have all the amounts in there, which they have family rates, and it's on the website, the Wisconsin Rapids website, as far as what the rates are going to be. So that would have extended the question to be much longer in length. So no one could decide on a happy medium as far as what we were going to have as far as the question goes. So then a motion was made just to strike the question in its entirety from the survey. I think that if the board would like to have that question in the survey, which I am for it, because it's one of the elephants in the room that we're asked about, should the town of Grand Rapids contribute to the aquatic center? And there's, as you can see, there's controversy. I mean, just the plan commission in itself can, come up with a proposed survey question. So I myself would like to see that, as a board, we could come up with a question that would be compromising between having the dollar figures in there and having the question in there and not having it sound too much like a referendum question. I know we didn't want to be tasked with it. We wanted to have the plan commission to be tasked with that, to bring it to us as a recommendation. So I'm leaving it up to discussion right now to see what the board is feeling at this point, knowing a little bit more history.
The only real way for us to know would be to put it on a referendum question at some point in time, and I'm not certain that there's
Right.
that much. I was trying to gauge the amount of support that there is for it. I'm okay with it just staying out there. I've had enough of the discussion on it. I'm okay with the questionnaire as it is, and if there's no other discussion on any particular thing, I'll make a motion to approve the survey as presented.
My one,
Well, if there's
Yeah.
a motion on the floor, if it's not seconded, then
Oh.
obviously you can speak, Patty.
Okay, I'll second your motion for discussion.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve as presented.
you can go ahead, Bill, you had,
So you said you're making this motion to leave it as they
As they
determine
presented
it?
it,
Oh, as they presented it?
without number 25.
So as it's, let me clarify this, I'm sorry, so it's struck.
Struck.
We're not gonna have the question on the survey.
You're not going to have a question on the survey, it's your motion.
That's what it is. That's what the plan commission felt was best. I'm telling you, I'm not in agreement with it, but I will stand them because I believe they are a very independent body. They're good think tankers, as Patty's recollected, and if they felt that there was concern about it getting to point that it was considered a referendum question, I'm okay with that.
Go ahead.
okay.
I
So
had
one
more.
of the other things I may add is, they liked the way that they had recommended the question from our last meeting, because they felt that it didn't sound like a referendum question. They felt that the question was out there, are you in support or aren't you? And so the question that they had originally recommended would be, would you be in favor of the town of Grand Rapids contributing taxpayer money towards the construction and ongoing maintenance of the Wisconsin Rapids Aquatic Center in exchange for reduced, it would be reduced residential, or reduced resident admission rates. So,
You know, I like that, in a sense, it's asking the question, but now, what does the public think the cost is gonna be when they're not making an informed decision? You know, when I go to the grocery store, I don't just have no prices on the meat, I wanna see what the meat is when I'm paying for it. And I would think anybody that's willing to vote on something wants to know, well, what's this gonna cost? Because $2 million, and I have not amortized it over 20 years, but whatever it is,
I think they sort of figured it was around $670 per household or something like that. I
Over
think.
10 years or over?
I'm not sure of the or years, I think it was over 10 years. It'd be, it's quite considerable without thinking about inflation or the ongoing costs, which today it's $22,000 for a brand-new aquatic center to be maintained versus 10 years down the line. We
Yeah,
don't know what
right.
that maintenance
Exactly.
cost is, right?
Bill?
I think it should be on the survey for a couple of reasons. But one of the things that should be on the survey is no less than $2 million. No less than, because we were basically not telling the truth by saying that that was the offer. That was the planning offer. And it sounds like if every municipality goes along with that, that's what it will cost us. So I think it should go in there with no less cost than $2 million for one reason. It's gonna get people to return. If that's the only question they ask, at least we can send out a survey and it says, we got 36%, and that's pretty good for a survey, or we got 50%. And I say we're gonna get a higher percentage because that question is in there, and people can say, $2 million ain't too bad, So that's fine. So I'm voting against the motion to not have it in there.
Any other discussion?
Well, that was one of the big points too
Yeah.
that we did talk about at the meeting, was it might cause the survey to come back and more input.
Well,
And I really tossed on this myself. I don't agree that we should put it in there without stating the numbers. And I don't believe that we should give the numbers specifically in there. I lean a little bit more towards where Bill's at with, giving some numbers to it, so we lend that. I think you're gonna get a ton of responses that are gonna say yes if we don't put the numbers in there. I think you're gonna get a ton that are gonna say no if you put it the exact numbers. We can't get exact numbers because we don't even have them.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's fair, and I think it's just I mean, if we come back and they do the survey and we don't give the numbers and everybody says we want an aquatic center, and 80% of the surveys come back, we want an aquatic center, we get before the board, a request for $2.5 million to contribute for this. That's, and the survey says we're supposed to vote for it and do it and figure it out, and financially, half those people may have said, yeah, that's.
Well, we're not totally bound
Yeah.
by that, though.
Here-
I get it.
here's the way we can handle it, if you trust my thinking ability. Let it go the way it is. This is being done because of the comprehensive plan, primarily. Our thought was to tick this on. But we could, on our own effort, through the course of, with our spring newsletter that we're going to be sending out, put a little thing in there, fill this out, get a waiver or not, you bring it back, we'll probably get as many, with all the information in at that time, because it's our question. We could do it that way.
You mean to say
So
a
put a little
card in
a little
the-
card in there.
Would we do return postage, or would they be expected to drop it off at the municipal building?
That's, we'd have to decide, I guess, but I mean, that would be another way of getting an answer.
Oh,
Basically, I mean, it's similar to what you do on a Survey Monkey, I bet, but not everybody's got the computer, so not everybody can answer it, and.
So one of the things, if I can, I am going to be voting no against your motion, Ernie, because of
Go
the
right
fact I do, I know, but
I'm
I'm going
expecting
to.
it to fail.
Yeah, okay. So the reason being is I like the idea that Bill had to say no less than 2 million, because it's something. It's not bound to saying that it's $2 million. It could be plus or minus. So there is a dollar figure attached to it. I think being that we sort of know that that is the numbers that are going to be coming towards us, I just think that we should have a dollar amount in there. I have from the very beginning, and I like Bill's idea.
But,
So,
again, it goes back to, they didn't want the number in, so they voted against it, so.
it's because the fact they couldn't, they
Well,
wanted all the numbers or none of
do
the
we
numbers.
need to put a few more board members on, so they got
Yeah.
9 instead of? or
So-
19 like the county, so.
Right.
All right, the motion was made and seconded to allow it to be printed as presented. That was, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Yeah.
I'm
All right,
opposed.
motion denied. Any other motions?
Okay, go ahead, Bill.
No, no, no.
Who wants to put their
Okay.
name on it?
I can,
It's something you gotta take back.
yep.
When do they want this to go out, by the way?
Well, that's why, if we, whatever we decide, you know, this is it, because of the fact that it's not gonna go back to them. They made their recommendation. We are,
Well, we can
we're
add some
either
more on
gonna, yeah, we're approving or not approving the survey.
Right.
And so, after tonight, it will be final, and then they're hoping to get, like, within the next 2
All
weeks.
right, what's
We
your
wanna
line?
beat the census.
What's your,
Okay.
Lisa, you're right, oh, you'll have it on tape.
Yes.
What's your language?
Okay, would you be in favor of the town of Grand Rapids taxpayers? Oops, excuse me, would you be in favor of the town of Grand Rapids contributing taxpayer money no less than $2 million towards the construction and ongoing maintenance of the Wisconsin Rapids Aquatic Center in exchange for reduced resident admission rates? And then it has mark 1, yes, no, or no opinion.
Motion by Patty, is there a second?
I'll second for discussion again.
All right, motion made and seconded, now discussion.
One question about that, and just to clean this up, so in regards to the maintenance of it, that wouldn't be the 2 million, correct?
No, there would be.
That would be in
an
excess of
addition.
that, so maybe, do we wanna
There was that 22,000.
revise it not to include the maintenance and almost look at it as the 2 million just for the construction, and then the maintenance we leave off of this right now? Just because 2 million is not including the maintenance.
Yeah.
And if you start looking at maintenance down the road, that could be projected as a large number.
The way it is written in no less than 2 million does leave that kind of open to become a larger number. And then our larger number could be considered the maintenance that they're anticipating. So I think the motion would be okay, because I think the other portion of it for maintenance would be considered the no less than.
The no less than.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Okay, so I get this in the mail, and I gotta fill out this form, and I agree with you that I don't think the maintenance should be on there, because they don't even have a good number for a maintenance on it. You know, they said 22,000 a year. But my understanding is this is $2 million to begin construction.
But
Correct.
which has been built.
Yeah. So we're, and that's not per year, that's a one-time $2 million,
Right.
right?
That's what the relaying information that Patty and I received over a year ago from the mayor and confirmed by him to us again last month.
Yeah, it was last month, I think.
So,
Okay, so I'll make a motion to amend Patty's motion to strike the word and maintenance.
I'll second that.
okay, the motion's been made and seconded to strike maintenance from the motion. Any other discussion on that portion of it? If not, we're voting on the amendment only to strike the word maintenance
And ongoing maintenance.
and ongoing maintenance.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? Motion, amendment to the motion carried. Now moving on to the motion as amended, which states in excess of $2 million, blah, 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 without maintenance issues in it. Any other discussion?
Will you read that motion back to us?
It's on the tape.
Oh,
Otherwise, I can do it too. Would you be in favor of the town of Grand Rapids contributing taxpayer money no less than $2 million towards the construction of the Wisconsin Rapids Aquatic Center in exchange for reduced resident admission rates? Mark 1, yes, no, no opinion.
Could I just say just a little
No.
thing?
I'm sorry?
Why not have the resident and non-resident rate in there then? what the difference
I'm
would be.
sorry, you're out of order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye, anybody opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Let's see, now we go on to disbursement vouchers, number 14. Any questions on the vouchers? All right, we'll pass them around for signature. If you don't want to forget about that.
Dan ain't here to take them home.
No.
So sign them.
Move on to item 15, operator license. We have a request for one for Charlene Burke at Jammers. A little difficult to figure that one out. 1 year. Motion to approve by Arnie, seconded by
Patty?
Patty. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Anybody opposed? No opposed. Motion carries. All right, we're moving on to committee reports, Public Works. The Maintenance Department report for January 2020 was a Christmas tree pickup, multiple trips around the town to get everybody's picked up. They replaced and rebuilt the plow ram on truck number 1. And for your information, it was 500 in parts plus the labor, our labor. Replaced 2 stolen street signs. One was South Park Road and the other was Sequoia Circle. Why that would be, we don't know. They worked on the water drainage mapping system, and I have the map behind the cabinet there if you want to look at it this evening. Replaced a few hydraulic hoses on the trucks and end loaders. Ongoing brush cleanup in the ditches. Routine maintenance was done on all police vehicles. The most recent snow plowing event, 5 drivers were out. 8 inches of snow. It was a total of 49 hours of labor, 185 gallons of fuel. Very little salt was used due to the sun working very well. Some additional information, 1 employee has been off since January 20th due to return to work on February 24th. And why I put it there is because there was a question last month on the repairs to the Schultz shed. That invoice copy for you, which is dated January 24th, 20, is now a copy for you, and the total cost of that was $331.68.
So who actually paid that?
Wood-
331?
Yeah, we paid that to Wood County.
Oh, we paid that to Wood County.
That's the invoice?
Yes, it is.
Gonna be interesting.
And Wood County actually repaired it.
Wood County did the repair. Yes,
Okay.
they did.
Okay, I have a question on his, it is a report for January 2020. Okay,
And as always, Rick says, any questions, give him a call. He's able to take your calls.
I do like the reports. They're very informative.
All right, we'll move on we'll go down this way this time. Plan Commission, Patty, anything else?
Well, we had 3 dog permit last night, but the people didn't show. We tried contacting them. There was no answer, so we tabled that till the next meeting. Hopefully they'll be in contact with us. And then, of course, we worked on the comprehensive plan. And also, one of the things that I'm working on, I created a poster to have printed up at UPS store that we're gonna have ready before the February 18th election, so that we can start advertising that it's, going to be sent, the survey is going to be sent in our US mail to keep our eyes open for.
Sure. Okay, any questions?
so for the no-show the other night,
Mhm.
or last night, when you had that no-show, it used to be that they didn't do it, and then you changed your plan, so what's this person to say, I didn't know I had to show up? You know what I mean? And does that person have to pay another fee to have a meeting?
I'm not sure about that another fee. That would probably be a question for the administrator to, to see what past practice has been. But as far as, I mean, they have their right to question us. And the reason why sometimes we would have an approval if they weren't there versus not is this one we tabled because of the fact that there was a call saying that, not their dogs, but dogs in that subdivision, there were other permits that they had problems with barking dogs. However, there weren't any police reports in regards to that, so we just wanted to talk to the people to see what they're.
So we know in this town that there's somebody has 3 dogs, and they were going to get a permit, but they never showed up for the permit to have those 3 dogs. So they can go on forever until they decide to come to a meeting?
No, I don't believe so, because they would be in violation of our.
We certainly know they're in violation now, so anytime there's a complaint or there's an issue, anybody complains, we send the police department over there to write them at least a warning, if nothing else.
Okay.
Any other questions on the plan commission? Anything else? Public safety, Andy?
Nothing.
Nothing? WTA meeting last time was in Port Edwards eventually. It was passed down from
Yeah.
1 week due to the storm, and Doug Mahan talked in depth about the solar system, the solar array system that will likely be built in the town of Saratoga. A significant amount of revenue will come to those, both the county and the municipality if it does go into effect, to the tune of, I believe, $250,000 projected for Saratoga and $350,000 for the county is what I expected. Very little discussion with the legislators. Pretty much this was one of the more poor attended, I thought, events due to the proximity to where it is. It seems like when we get to one end of the county or the other, it slows down. Anything else, Bill, that was?
No, the
significant?
next town meeting is in the town of Remington, which is, what's that one? Babcock? Babcock.
By the post office or whatever it is,
Yeah.
very small.
In Babcock.
Feral
Yeah.
cats.
That's it, and I don't know if you all received a list of all of them, if you want me to put one in your mailbox.
Oh, okay.
I can do that, I wrote on this one, but we can do it.
What were
I thought
the,
this was in our mailboxes here.
Yeah,
wasn't
we had something, which it was, Bill, I'm not sure where it is.
Okay.
right now.
what were that $250,000 and the 350, what?
That comes
what-
from utility payments.
Oh, okay.
It's because it's taken off the tax roll,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and that's why that payment is.
okay.
And now the county is trying to get the school district that's over there, because if that property's off the tax roll, they don't pay any school tax. And then Mid-State Technical is saying, hey, since
What
that
about us?
property is going up, we would like some money out of it. So the county is trying to get those people money.
Okay.
And it'll probably end up, nobody gets anything. They probably won't build it. Who knows? Anything else? Otherwise, we'll go to Airport Commission. Meeting will be Thursday morning. Construction has started on the hangar. The first I-beams were put up today. And I guess that's about where we are.
I would like to comment on it.
Brad?
On the airport. This town voted unanimously, including you, to vote against the annexation. And you, at the last meeting, you voted for the annexation.
Sure. You'd like me to explain my vote?
No, not right now, I wouldn't, because I'd like to go on with what I have to say. Last April is when they started this about building that place, and I want to say years ago, the airport commissioner for town of Grand Rapids, in my opinion, stopped the building of a building because people's taxes would go up. And that was supposed to be a maintenance hangar done by a local resident. here in this town. Instead, they built that at another airport because they've said no to it. And I would like everybody to know that the city of Wisconsin Rapids already gives protection, the fire protection. The city of Grand Rapids gives fire protection, but the city gives sewer and water to the terminal building. And at the last meeting I was at, with the city, I asked the mayor, why, this is so important. He says, so we can get a cheaper ISO rating. If this is in the town of Grand Rapids, we have to pay more for our insurance. And the city insurance would be covering it. The city insurance is covering it right now, obviously, because the airport don't have money to pay that, so they have to pay it, and it comes out of that. They're under the insurance right now. I just think it was a bad mistake, and I'm going to say that if that does go and becomes that, I will circulate petitions all over this town to say we should get out of the airport, out of there. That $40,000 that we pay, for what? The town of Rome, it's used for the town of Rome people in their golf course, and they're not paying the thing. That's my stance on that, and I'm very disappointed that you voted in favor of this.
Well, as you're probably aware of, when you sit on a commission, you have to vote for what's best for that commission. Needless to say, the best decision for the airport, there is no tax collection, no tax wasted, no generation of additional revenues that a municipality would get for where that hangars and buildings sit. That's why my vote was correct after I reviewed this with attorney, that I needed to vote what's best for the commission. As far as the revenue, indirectly, we received over $105,000 in fuel sales, which jets that flew in to go to the golf course. To say that they're not providing anything is correct in one sense, but the other side of it is the revenue it generated. This new hangar will generate a substantial amount of revenue as planes choose to stay overnight in it.
So you can furnish that report that you received from the attorney. There was a report requested as to why we're going, what we were doing. And did the attorney give you a report?
To me?
Yes.
No.
That's what your people requested. In an open record request, I'm going to request that report that you requested.
Try to find it, because...
because there probably isn't one.
It was verbal.
It was verbal.
That's what it was. He was there at the meeting, you were there. All right, move to public buildings. Dan is not here. Bill, anything you're going?
No, I see the repair of that building, and I talked to Dan about that, if he was going to have a meeting about that sand shed, and he said, no, we're not, and I'm concerned that something happened to that building, and there's no report of an incident about that happening, and I think that is wrong.
Economic development? Andrew, anything?
Haven't met.
Okay, recycling solid waste?
We have a meeting coming up.
Coming up.
Yes, the 20th,
20th?
tentatively for the 20th.
Morning, afternoon, evening?
3:45 if we do have it on the 20th.
Okay.
20th or 21st? Just-
Legislative, we met, we've updated some things, which we had part of them here. So I think there's a couple things pending yet. And then
21st.
Andrew, personnel?
We did meet last month a couple different times, and I believe some of this may have been reported last meeting. We met with department heads when in a closed session, and then we also made a couple recommendations on policy changes to the legislature.
Sure. Thank you. Any questions for him? Hearing none, we'll move to reports from individual board members. Andy, got anything?
Nope.
Bill?
Yes, I am talking about the annual reports, and I talked about it before, and I think annual reports should be from the committees that meet, recycling and solid waste. We have an annual report. I think any of these people that meet on a regular basis, such as the buildings, what did you do? I just think it's important that those annual reports out. And the report on the ditching that I've asked for is how much it cost, who was hired for that job and everything. Am I gonna get that report?
Yeah, we got the map started.
And that map's gonna tell me how much it costs?
It will, when it's all done. If you want to look at this evening after it's open, you can open it up and see what's on there right now.
So what was there a meeting on that, or?
Yeah, well, I didn't call a meeting, I didn't take a per diem for it. I sat down with Rick and Mike and we went through over his notes and my notes and asked where all the surface drainage systems are. That's a fancy term.
So when do you expect the report to be done?
Ongoing, did it a couple weeks ago. We've few things to get from the documentations, and we'll have it on there.
And then I would like to report about the public comment that was here. This person has waited 2 years for a report from the Police and Fire Commission. Didn't get their report until almost 2 years later. And that's when we come out that if you've got a complaint, file a report. You file a report. Obviously, we don't have anything in if you file a report. I have a stack of people that call in here, and I don't consider them a report. Their snow wasn't plowed or something like that in the mailbox. So we said, oh, you gotta file a report. So when is that gonna be responded to? When is a report going, what's the sense of making a report? A written report, and you require it.
Patty?
I just want to remind everyone that we're working on the comprehensive survey and that we really want everyone to fill that out. It's time-sensitive material. And when it's in your US mail, just make sure you fill out the survey and return it back because your input is needed and required. So we appreciate that. And one of the things, Bill was talking about annual reports from the committees. One thing I didn't realize, but we have a total of 14 committees. I didn't realize that it was that many committees.
There you go. It's hard to believe
Yeah,
what it takes to run a town. It takes a village to run a town, is what you're saying.
yeah, a lot of committees.
All right, a couple things. I'll respond to a concern for the airport, and I would strongly believe that the town of Grand Rapids should never leave the airport commission. We were one of the original founders. We have a full 38% interest in it. It's something that's worth over $17 to $18 million worth of improvements, and to throw that away would be a disgrace. I want to say that I just attended the WTA training for Wisconsin Towns Associated Training for Board Review. A few minor little things changing. It's very worthwhile. And primarily, I have some notes just to confirm with Lisa that we are following it that way. I believe we are already, but I've got some notes made, and I believe Patty,
Going in March.
you're going in March. I believe Dan was going. Was that correct? Down in the Dells.
No, just Bill,
I think I'm
Patty,
going.
and you were the only three that responded, you were going.
Okay, I thought Dan had indicated.
No, I had even
That,
sent
but
a
he didn't.
reminder that day and I never heard back. so.
He's too busy thinking about where he was going, probably.
Okay.
All right, the other thing, just for information to the public, a bike safety rodeo is again in the works. The town in this area has not had one where it's in cooperation with the City of Wisconsin Rapids, the Masonic Temple, the Grand Rapids Lions, and Grand Rapids Police the Auxiliary are in planning stages to do a bike rodeo again, so we can get the public. We're looking to find access to, excuse me, bike helmets. Years ago, Century Insurance, not Security Health Insurance provided it. I'm going to try to have contact with the Legacy Foundation and see if there's some support for something like that. That might be a good place to approach. All right, so next agenda, nothing is set as of yet, but we'll go as it is. And motion to adjourn at 7:05 by
Patty?
Patty.
Second.
Second by Andrew. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.